Welcome, friends and family, to the Local Acts Only podcast. I'm here with Anthony Garcia.
Hello.
A. Jones.
A. Jones.
Who is A. Jones?
Who is A. Jones?
So I know the Madison told me about the name, but
What did she say about the name?
she was like, yeah, like I guess your mom like asked her or something. She was like, who's A. Jones? Like
I put it on my Instagram a while ago. My mom texted me and was like, who the hell is A. Jones?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I know who A. Jones is, but like who's A. Jones? Like
It's a mystery.
Yeah. So is that is it supposed to be a mystery or?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out who A. Jones is, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, to get right into it, this episode we're going to talk a lot about, to begin, the recent project, A Town.
Yeah.
It's called, right? A Town?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is absolutely incredible. One of the more unique projects that I've heard recently, as it's like a folky kind of project. Like you don't hear a lot about like a lot of that. I mean, I guess I'm already derailing, but to start, like, what, like, pulled you in as far as that kind of genre?
So I think I started getting into this music when I first got to college. I started really getting into singer-songwriters and folk music in general. I'm sorry, I'm talking very quietly.
No, yeah, you're good. Can all be fixed.
But yeah, I got really into Johnny Cash when I was a senior in high school. And my love for singer-songwriters kind of started there, and it's progressed. And that's what's interesting to me about the project, is that I've went back and listened to a lot of music similar to what I'm trying to create since then. And it's really grown over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been writing these songs for a while now. Like the songs that I've recorded have been around for like 2-3 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you find that to be like a struggle? Like I've struggled with even going back to something I wrote like a couple weeks ago, you know? And like just reading it and like being in a different place mentally. Cause like I feel like once you're out of that place that you're in when you're writing a song initially, you kind of lose the like spark a little bit. Yep. Did you struggle with that?
I did, especially in the recording process, because I've obviously written other songs since then, but having to go back and say, am I still feeling those things now? Or can I change them to make it, fit the idea? Because I really wanted to make something cohesive. That was the whole intention behind the album. Really taking my time and making something that is meant to be listened to in full. Not really supposed to be picked out songs.
Like not really so much throwing a banger in a playlist really as much as like listening to a piece of art kind of. Yeah. So when you're writing that and you're like in that headspace of like, I don't really feel like this anymore, does it change? Like, does the song change, or do you kind of just like put yourself back in that place and be like, no, this is what it was about originally. Yeah. This is the emotion originally. I need to keep this main thing. Or does it like change?
Sometimes it changes over time. Sometimes a song will take on different meaning. Yeah. I try to write songs in the moment. I try to be the channel to whatever is coming to me. But whatever's coming to me at one point in time may change. Yeah. I found myself reworking a lot of songs that I originally wrote and said, this is going to be a song on the album. But after recording some songs, I started to realize like the idea and kind of manifest it.
How, like, I just lost my train of thought. Fuck. Awful podcast interviewer. So like when, are there any that kind of come to mind that it was like one thing when it first started and then it kind of came out the other end, a different song almost?
A song we mentioned earlier, Place Inside My Mouth. I rearranged that one a lot. That was actually the last song I recorded. And the words for that song were just coming and going. And I sort of just tried to make it as simple of a story as I could. And that's why I like to think it almost is like a short story, that song. It's like a small narrative.
So, like I said, we wanted to talk about the music a lot. Do you want to start with that song? Talk about that one a little bit? Like read some of the lyrics to it maybe?
Dude, I took some screenshots of the lyrics on my phone. Actually, I have that one in my notebook.
Ooh.
So I can grab it.
'Tis a beautiful notebook
over here.
Dude, I feel lost when I don't have this thing. Or like, you ever lose it?
No, this one I haven't lost.
Yeah, no. I've had some like terrifying moments where I'm like, I don't know where it is, and I've written a lot of stuff in there, and I hope no one reads it.
I used to use my phone a lot.
Yeah.
I actually started journaling like this summer. So this is like some of the lyrics because, like I said, I've been reworking them, and those might not even be the lyrics in the song, but those are some of them. That's the idea, at least. He
was 17 at 4 down, hanging with a no good bunch of clowns. Said honestly, do you here no it's really not that bad. I just also can't read, so like, do you want to read it? I feel like it would be better coming from here.
Said I've been dreaming of a place where we were a bit older now, didn't really know what was going on. Said I've been dreaming of a place inside my mouth. So what does that mean to you, like a place inside my mouth? Well, that kind of sums up the idea of the album. It's a place inside my mind that I created to explore myself and explore different emotions that I've been feeling. And right here in my notebook, it says, it's a place I like to talk about. So this is me like realizing, this is a place that I've made up and explored. Yeah, like your brain is this like vast playground that you can... vast and expansive. For real. So... when exactly was that song written? Because you said it was over a span of a long time, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I wrote that song in my bathroom. That's another theme I wanted to mention. Being at my parents' house, we have a small woods in our backyard. And as time goes on, the woods is starting to die and starting to decay. And through the process of recording and writing these songs, I've been just looking at that woods and trying to take inspiration from it. Yeah, so I remember looking through my bathroom window at the woods while writing the song. And everything comes from a guitar part for me, because I'm really a player. So I had that guitar part, and then I was trying to, add words to it. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to ask too. So like most of your songs are starting with the guitar? Yeah, for the most part. See, that's like the general consensus that I get from almost everyone, is that they start with the instruments and then write to it. But like I have this like mental block where like I need like words come out of me first. And so like I have such a struggle of like... I've wanted to be able to do that, but it's always guitar first for me. Really? Yeah. The song Throwing Stones, which is the first track on one of my favorite songs, that song came all at once. Came guitar part and words. Oh, so it was like just one. Like, and everything at once. Love the best. Oh yeah, love the most. You want to talk a little bit about that one? Where we kick off the project? Sure. So, Throwing Stones. I guess that one is one that could be about a lot of different things. It's about a lot of different things to me. But I'm trying to think of the words to that song too. I can pull that one up. What did you think when you heard that song? What did it remind you of? The thing that stood out to me really was the production wise, like how it sounded recording, because it gave you like I felt like I was in my car, but I felt like I was like sitting next to the fire and like in like a cozy like room, just the way it's like mastered kind of. I actually it has that very like that song at Madison's house in New York. My parents have a house up there where they like to stay when they go snowboarding. And it's this old, like, 70s room with the green carpet and old furniture. I feel like I kind of got teleported there. Room. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, as far as... refresh me, like, some of the words. Because I'm a very eclectic music listener. I just listen to fucking everything and then like forget everything. You definitely have an appreciation for a lot of different music. Oh, every genre really. It was something that I had to work hard and like be awful at for a while, but eventually I got to where I needed to be. So I'm looking at the words right now, and it starts saying throwing stones years ago. So it starts in the past. And a line that stuck out to me when I first came up with it was, and the cold wind blows, and the cold wind blows when I tell it. And that to me is sort of like an empowering line. Ooh, yeah, let me read some of this. I try to be demonstrative, and I try to write with statements, try to declare myself. And say, I'm here, I'm saying what I want to say. Yeah, this is incredible. All right, I'm gonna give it a shot at reading it. Okay. So throwing stones years ago, I've been where we are going,
and the cold wind blows, and the cold wind blows when I tell it. My brother and I gathering worms in cans. I wish I could understand. I wish I could understand what I meant when I said. I would go down this old lonely road, and there would be a girl out there, and there would my soul out there.
Yeah, there would be my soul.
Yeah, there would be my soul out there.
It's about, myself growing up. And I think that's a theme throughout the project.
Yeah, I definitely catch that. I also love that the line in Little Verse where it's talking about the Victorian times. Mm-hmm. It's such a, I don't know, it gives you like a warm, definitely like warm, like feeling listening to it.
I'm glad.
The whole project is really, really incredible.
Thank you.
I highly recommend that everyone listen to it. But so if you had to put like you said you wanted it to be like a whole like thing. So it's kind of like a concept album, right? Yeah. You would say, yeah. So if you had to give the most like not blunt, but like simplest summarization for anyone who hasn't listened to it, or like if they are interested in lyrics and stuff like that, how would you summarize it?
How would I summarize? The idea is kind of, I tried to make it as simple as I could. Mm-hmm. That's why the town is just, that's the title. And you mentioned like you enjoy the lyrics a lot, but I guess lyrics to me come and go. Like I don't really focus on what I write. It just kind of comes to me. Mm-hmm. And then I try to internalize it and find out what it means. And then, as the song presents itself, I try to further figure out what is this trying to project.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to listen to a lot, because it's a lot to take in lyrically, yeah. I feel like, and you have to really like sit with each song kind of and like really think about it. And
it's a bit dense too.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's I think that's one of the reasons I love it so much, and like why I'm coming back to it constantly, is that like there's just so much to it, and like
I'm glad you are, because that was the intention.
Yeah.
This is something that for me, even I'm still listening to it and wondering about the ideas and the thoughts.
It's really like an interesting concept to write about things that you don't fully understand yet, or feelings, because like I feel like a lot of people just write what they know, rather than things that they're confused about or that they don't understand. Is that something that you said lyrics come and go, really, so is that something that it's been like that forever for you, or is that something you like started trying to do, where you just writing how you writing things that you knew and
is
stuff?
Coming from me, and it has to be in the moment for me, unless it gets dull quickly. Mm-hmm. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from blues, like blues artists were something I really got into at the time I was telling you, when I got to college. And the way they grapple with themselves, and the way they talk about their feelings and their struggles. Because without struggle, there's no music for me.
Yeah. It's really, that's, I think, a beautiful statement, really. It's because I've been in a lot of good places and written a lot of things, but I feel like the stuff that I write from places that aren't as good are always so much better. And it's like, do you ever think about putting yourself in a situation where it would be negative for you, but it would make good writing?
Yeah, I mean, these songs are in a way, they're for me in a way, but they're also for other people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I do. I'm sorry, I forgot what you said at the last part there.
Do you like put yourself in not bad situations or negative situations, but like, do you find yourself doing things on purpose that might affect you negatively because it will give you something to write about?
Yeah, I try to look for that struggle, because if there is no struggle, sometimes you have to make one up. You have to take from somewhere else.
Could you think of like an example where you've like put yourself in a situation to write something? Yeah.
A song on the album?
I mean, or if you don't want to put yourself on blast too much.
Well, the song Sunday Feel, I think, is a song that is for other people. I think it's a commonality. I think a lot of people are feeling what that song is talking about right now with the pandemic, and I think I try to pull from what's going on around me. I think that's what every artist does. And I try to pull from nature. I try to pull from my own feelings, and I try to pull from what's going on outside my house, outside the world or in the world.
I think that's like where most of the best music comes from, really, is things that people can like relate to, I think that was actually something I noticed when I was looking at it on Spotify or on SoundCloud, was like, you see like the plays, like it kind of like decreases a little bit, and then when it comes to the last one, the Sunday Feel, it's more than the ones above it, people like directly above it. Yeah, like so people are like coming back to that one, and I could definitely, that gives me context.
That was my idea,
Was there thought to making that the first song?
That was the first song I recorded, and that's one of the most recent songs I've written. I wrote that this summer. And no, my intention was always for that to be the last song, because as you listen to the album, that's the last thing you hear, and that's the most recent song for me.
That's fair. That makes sense. So you released the project on SoundCloud. Yeah. Is it anywhere else other than SoundCloud right now? I know you said it was coming to Spotify. It's on
iTunes right now.
Oh, it is?
It should be on Spotify soon.
Yeah. Okay. What was the like? Was there much thought behind, or was it just like, oh, I could get this on SoundCloud right now, and the others take a little bit?
I was gonna release it the day I wanted to release it, regardless of what platform. But I like SoundCloud, and I think other people do too.
Yeah, no, I love it. I just have a problem with like everything anyone ever sends me, playlist or music wise, is generally on Apple Music or Spotify. I literally have memberships to both, so I can listen to people's playlists and shit. Nice. And so like,
I'm a big Apple Music person.
Yeah, I start to lack when it comes to my friends' SoundCloud stuff, when I should be doing better. But what can you do? Yeah, so, do you want to talk a little bit more about the song Sunday Feel, like some of the lyrics and like what it's about to you?
Well, the first line I think sums it up really well. Trying to pull it up here. It says, "We try so hard to get away from here, we never get too far away." I think that it just sums up what everybody is feeling right now. Kind of stuck in the mud, stuck in a place.
Yeah, that's really a beautiful line. I mean, always really, not even just so much with the pandemic, because like you're always constantly like trying to grow and push yourself to do things and like drop bad habits, and then all of that's just always like pulling you back in.
We were talking a minute ago about the negativity, the dark things, and I encourage people to go there, because I think that's my best art. And the next line says, "I got some sanction and a blanket here," and it sums up my last few years. And that's me saying, despite what's going on now, I've kind of felt this way for a while. I've felt like we can't get far away from here for some time.
I love the blanket. It's like you're like just kind of cozy in that like space that you're in mentally, kind of like you just got a blanket here.
Too comfortable.
Yeah,
I think that's like an issue with society in general. We're a little bit too comfortable right now.
I feel like no one ever really wants to be uncomfortable, and the things that make people uncomfortable, like just completely turn them off to things like,
let's say like the idea of like servitude. Like we are all like forced to be, doing something. Especially at this age, we're forced, you have to have a job, you have to go to school, you have to serve something.
Yeah.
And the chorus to that song is like, I saw a light out in the woods. I wonder whose soul that it took. It's calling me to come to. Like I'm trying to, put myself out there. I'm trying to escape, because music is an escape for me.
That referring to the woods behind your house? Yeah. That's awesome. I absolutely fucking love all of it. It's legitimately incredible, and everyone needs to listen to it.
Yes, please listen.
So before we started recording, we talked very, very, very briefly about your guitar history. Do you want to tell us that road that you've went down? Yeah. Like where you started?
I've always wanted to play the guitar. My first instrument was the drums. I started on the kit.
Were you in school band?
I was in school band, yeah.
Were you in Lanes Mill?
I went to Herbertsville. I played the sax in Herbertsville. Yeah, and then in middle school I picked up percussion. I didn't even know I could really play a drum kit. And then I sat down at one for a talent show one day, and I was like, I just fit in. And I guess, I don't know. And then from there, I picked up the guitar. I always wanted to play the guitar. I tried to play the guitar when I was younger, and my hands were too small, and I gave up. I remember back then, it was like elementary school. The first day I picked up a guitar, I wanted to write a song. And then I kind of lost sight of that till I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned that earlier too. And then middle school, I started playing a lot. I learned every Nirvana song that I could. And then with time, I started getting really interested in blues guitar playing. Like players like Hendrix, and have always inspired me. And then I really got into like finger picking, I'd say, in college, and folk style guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's like my influence for this project.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my like favorite kind of sounds. Is that like finger picking, like folky, like laid back, but like at the same time not.
Yeah, I pull from a lot of older artists, and I also like a lot of contemporary artists too.
Mm-hmm. So like, what would you say your major like influences for the project are? I know earlier you might have said a couple, but like, if you really think
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash is just an influence on me in general. I think a lot of artists are influenced by him and Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Dylan's a big influence on me. Yeah, and there's contemporary artists like Shaky Graves is like an indie folk artist I love.
I love Shaky Graves.
I also really like The Tallest Man on Earth.
I'm not familiar.
You should check him out. I think you really like it.
The Tallest Man on Earth.
Yeah, he's very like traditional folk. I think he's Swedish.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's been making music for some time now. He's really good.
Yeah, I remember. Do you know the story of how Shaky Graves got his name?
Yeah.
How fucking amazing is that?
Yeah, it's great.
I love, like, I've listened to anything that he has on YouTube Live, like those Audio Tree lives. I've listened to a ridiculous
I love,
amount.
like the one-man band setup that he has too.
Dude, with
really
the tambourine and the kick, like, oh
this
my god.
Abner J.
Abner J.
I really pull from. I think he was around in the 50s and 60s. He was a one-man band as well. Yeah.
Damn, yeah. So is that something that you would want to do, like adding in the kick and the?
I've thought about.
Yeah.
I want to be as original as possible.
Yeah, you don't want to just copy.
Bring a suitcase drum out and copy. Is
that something that you struggle with? Like you just said, you want to be as unique as possible.
Well, I just want to be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to try to be something that I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still figuring that out. Like I said to you earlier, like I'm still figuring out who A. Jones is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I'm going to be figuring that for the rest of my life.
Yeah. When did you kind of get on that path to like wanting to be yourself and like get to know yourself? Because like I'm definitely in a similar spot right now, but it didn't happen until like a year or two ago. And before that, I was kind of just running through everything like a crazy man.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you get to where you're at.
Yeah, it was kind of scary for a little bit there though.
Yeah, I'd say for the past like year or two. The past year or two, I've been really trying to look internally and kind of exploring myself, and like we said, exploring like the negative aspects, the positive aspects, and that sums up to growth.
Yeah. What like started you on that? Were you like looking in the mirror and you're like, fuck, like what? Like, and then just
yeah, I think sophomore year in college was a big year for me to start to look internally.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking internally before then, but that's when I really was like realized a lot of things, as most people do at that age, I think.
Yeah. So you go to TCNJ, right?
I do, yeah.
What are you going there for?
I'm going there for journalism.
Journalism.
Yeah, okay. Passion for writing.
Hell yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I've been writing poetry for a long time.
Let's go.
I mean, I think poetry and music, go hand in hand for me.
Mm-hmm.
With my writing process, especially.
Yeah. Like when I was reading the one, it definitely. As I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, this is like a fucking poem." Like, like
a lot of the lyrics are pulled from poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you? So when you're writing poems, is it like, do poems turn into songs, or is it you're writing a song, or you're writing a poem, or do the lines always blur?
Yeah, the lines blur, but I'm always writing a song, and I'm trying to find words that fit my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just trying to find words, because sometimes I don't have them. You know, I have to refer back to my poetry, and I'm trying to get better at coming up with words in the moment. Yeah, I think that's something I'm striving to do.
That's definitely something that's like really fucking hard, you know? Like,
I look up to artists like Jack White who, you know, show up to like his gig without a set list, coming up with it on the top of his head. Like, that's something I'm really influenced by and impressed by.
I remember like Lil Wayne, I think, said that he'd like never written down a lyric in his life.
Wow.
Yeah. Like everything is just always stream of consciousness or like memory, and it's like, whoa, dude, you must really like this stuff.
Or it's just a feeling.
Yeah. How often do you write?
Every day.
Yeah,
every day. Sometimes I write in my journal, sometimes I write, you know, on my phone in my notes. And when I'm not writing for music or writing poetry, I'm writing for school, I'm writing for, you know, my job.
So you said you recently started journaling, right? When did that start?
Yeah, this summer I was like, I think this is such an important time in human history. So I think it'd be the best time for me to start journaling. And it's challenging because I have bad handwriting, as you saw. And my handwriting
it's better than mine.
Yeah, it's not the best, but yeah, let me look at this. Oh, yours is very similar to mine.
I think
is that chicken scratch.
Yeah.
But yeah, sitting down and writing and kind of keeping a journal has been a really fun process for me so far.
Is that like what you're writing, mostly like personal, like things that you're thinking, like things that you're going through, or are you writing?
I try to keep up with you know, current events and what's going on with the world and how I feel about it, and try to like log what's going on and what's going on with me.
Do you look back at previous entries a lot? No,
I haven't looked at that.
No, neither have I. I write things and then they're just gone forever.
Sometimes something I like to do more is I sit down with, you know, an open page, and I'll have my guitar and I, you know, jot down, you know, some words for a song or whatever's on my mind, just so I don't forget. The cat is in my guitar case. He loves it. He's a very fluffy cat. And
Wait, I gotta get a picture of this. This is fucking hilarious.
It's a she?
Yeah, she's like photo bombing the podcast. Completely derailed.
I just got a kitten for Christmas.
Ooh. So in was it in Hook, Line, and Sinker, that lyric running around with a bunch of no good clowns?
That's in place inside my mouth.
Oh, that's in place.
Yep. Oh, I'd like to talk about that song too when we get to it. I could pull up the lyrics for that.
I mean, you can go for it right now if you want.
That was a song I wrote when I was 18. When I wrote that song, I told myself that it was too personal, and I buried it away. And I wrote a lot of songs for this project and kind of narrowed them down, and that one was never on my mind for this project. And recently I started playing it again, and I was like, what I said in the song is really honest. So yeah, you can look at the lyrics for it right here.
You wanna read them?
Sure. So it starts, do you remember that afternoon, right after I spent the last dollar in my shoe, earlier that morning at dawn? You said I thought this was, darling, where have you been so long? Boy, I was wrong. And then the hook is, you had me hook, line, and sinker, you've got me wrapped around my finger. And to me, it's about a very confusing relationship. And the song itself, I think, captures that and its confusing nature.
Yeah.
It's finger picked guitar is kind of like,
you
know, random.
I definitely feel that, because what's the one line? You got me hook, line, and sinker, I got you wrapped around my finger.
Yeah, and throughout the song I change the noun. So sometimes it'll be I've got you, or be like you've got me. So it's just about a generally confusing time.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. I can definitely relate to that one, because it's like that just weird like mental conundrum of like you have this person wrapped around your finger, but then at the same time they have you wrapped around your finger, and it like just doesn't make any sense, and it's like real weird.
And I was glad that I was able to, you know, put my feelings out there when I was 18 and really talk about them.
Oh yeah, that's like incredible that you were able to write that when you were 18. I wish I started writing earlier. When did you, like, at what age did you start like getting into poetry and songwriting?
Poetry I got into around middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I got into songwriting, I'd say, like junior of high school. The stuff I was writing was, a lot different than it is now. Yeah.
What exactly got you into poetry back then?
What got me into poetry? I think it was just a really good outlet for me.
Yeah.
I had like my own stream of consciousness going on in my head and somewhere to put it down, so why not put it down?
Mm-hmm.
There are times that I haven't written when I was, going through something very dark, and I wish I did, because I wish I knew what was going on in my head, because we were just talking.
Yeah.
This is a theme for our podcast.
Yeah.
About, exploring the shadow and the negative parts of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, jeez, man, I wish I could go back in time and just put a pencil and piece of paper in front of my...
I'm glad I realized that, too.
Yeah,
now
that's...
I force myself to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that'll be cool to, like, pull back, like, writing-wise, to, like, go back in time, like, when you're in this dark place, and then, like, I mean, you could write, like, an album about, like...
Yeah.
Shit from your journal from like 3 years ago. That's and just like true. Try to like put yourself back into that.
Or if I come up with an idea and I find out, this is the period in time that this song is about, I can always go back and see, what I was writing at that time.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely very powerful. So we slightly derailed to talk about Hook, Line, and Sinker, but running around with a bunch of no good clowns. Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that lyric? Because I feel like I've been doing that my whole life.
I think it's a common thing with, young men and boys that they get into some trouble. And I think you've been in more trouble than I have.
Oh. I don't even want to think about
Jack's a troublemaker. It's
I got some good stories for you after the podcast, honestly. Because you've missed some stuff. I should do that, honestly. Just like all my fuck ups, like all the dumb shit that I've done. Just like put it all on a podcast. Yes. Be like, so none of you can ever be mad at me for anything. Here's everything. Good luck. Enjoy.
Yeah, so people can, help you right your wrongs and everything.
Feel free to text me and ask me if I'm okay afterwards.
Yeah, it'd be a good outlet for you.
So do you feel like that's something that I've really been putting a lot of my energy into recently, is like surrounding myself with the right people, like making sure everyone in my life is like a good influence rather than just like no influence or a bad influence. Is like that line to me made me think of like what I'm doing now. Is that kind of, do you feel the same way kind of?
Yeah, I think that song is a lot about reflection. And realizing that at a certain time I wasn't doing the things that I wish I was doing or I want to do now. And, sort of realizing that.
Yeah, that's a really crazy thing to think about, is like, imagine all the time that you haven't, like, all the previous years of like college, high school, middle school, all that I could have been putting towards music.
Yeah, and but it's also like, what am I going to do about it now?
Exactly.
Besides write a song about it.
Exactly. Yeah, just write a song and a poem about how you're feeling about not doing shit in your whole life and then finally doing shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many distractions. So many things we could just, put our time into with Netflix and video games, and just, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Just...
Oh, dude, my
waste our time with that.
My pandemic started with like 16 hours a day of World of Warcraft.
Nothing's wrong with that. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
Anything else.
I mean, whatever gets you through the day.
Outside. Fresh air.
Yeah, that's a great.
Because there was none of that. Or maybe a shower. I don't know. I didn't have any of those.
I talk about in the album too. Being cooped up in the house and wanting to explore. I think that's what Sunday Feel really captures well.
Yeah, definitely feel that. Definitely Sunday feel that.
Sunday Feel.
So you're going to school for journalism. What kind of journal, like what do you want to do? What's your sorry to ask that question, because okay. I know how much everyone hates it and I hate it too, but
no, it's okay.
It seems like you know.
I don't really know.
Oh no.
I'm going on this journey of seeing what I could do. And I want to get to a point where I can write about other people and share other people's stories, because that's what my passion really is at. But
like musically?
No,
or just in general?
Just in general, yeah. I mean, it would be great if I could write about musicians, but I would want to write about people, everyday people like you and me.
Also what I meant in that was, like, would you eventually want to, do you ever think about like writing song wise and like musically, like from other people's shoes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you do, or?
It's something I haven't done yet, but I think, like The Town is a place that I created that was imaginative, and my creative process can be very similar to that, putting yourself in a place or putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And I want to hear those stories and take that in and see, what I can come up with that.
I think that's definitely something like a very weird kind of outlandish concept to me, to like write from other people, because it's so hard to like, I mean, it's hard even to write about your own feelings, let alone like then putting yourself in someone else's shoes and really feeling what they feel and like writing from their perspective.
And I just I feel very grateful in my life for the things I've been given and the opportunities that I have, and I think that's my way of giving back, and whether it be in a song, whether it be in an article.
For sure. So I don't know how much you would want to talk about this, but I mean, I know you've been dating Madison for a while. Like, she's a wonderful lady. Shout outs to her.
Yeah.
Aww. Is like, do you get a lot of inspiration from your like that relationship as far as writing wise?
I do. Yeah. And then I get a lot of inspiration for love that I've been given in my life, whether it be from her or somebody else or my parents, my brothers and sisters, my brother and sisters. Shout out to them.
How old are they?
I'm the youngest of 4. The closest one is my sister Jess. She's about 5 years older than me.
Okay.
My brother Nick, and then my older sister Sam, who's an incredible artist. She's 10 years older than me.
What does she do?
She's a painter, or she draws. She
Damn.
does she's very talented.
Hell yeah. Cat's back in the case.
Yes. Loves it.
She's tweaking the fuck out in there. What do you got catnip in there, bro?
maybe she smells my kitten.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? So you've been playing guitar for a while. When did you start like singing?
Yeah, I never thought I would sing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever thinks that they can.
I mean, I certainly didn't. I started singing with like a deep voice and really singing from like my chest. But as time goes on, as I get better at singing, I've expanded to like, my head voice or, the middle range, and I get more comfortable singing every day, I think.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up though.
Yeah.
Because this is my first project where people really get to hear me sing or hear what my voice sounds like, and when I'm confident,
Yeah. Are you taking like vocal lessons? Like, were you taught? How'd you learn how to sing like that, dude?
How to sing? Singing along to my favorite records.
Yeah.
Practicing, matching pitches, things like that.
Also YouTube? Or no, just figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah. You did a good job of figuring it out, my friend.
I hope I can create my own style.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah, no, it's definitely has a certain vibe to it, which is extremely fuckwittable.
Appreciate that.
So what about guitar wise? Like, were you taught, or you
I
self-taught?
never took any lessons, but I learned a lot from YouTube and learned a lot from tablature and things like that. I've been playing for a long time. Yeah.
Can you read music?
I can read a little bit of music. Yeah, I read bass clef in high school. I'm actually seeing a guitar teacher at TCNJ this semester, who's a flamenco guitarist.
Ooh.
Yeah, classical.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'll get into some more reading.
They do some pretty crazy finger picking shit, right?
Oh, yeah, he's
flamenco.
Impressive. Yeah.
I feel like that's what it was. Someone recently was like, yeah, I feel like the best guitarists are like flamenco guitarists.
Like
just like no one knows really about
that. Like picking hand wise, that's the best. It's where it all comes from. Yeah.
So, fuck, what was I gonna say?
keep clearing my throat.
Usually Joe's here to save me when I forget what I'm about to say, and then he comes in with something great. But he's a little bit afraid of the weather.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Hi,
neither
Joe.
do
If
I.
you're at home, I hope you're doing well.
Joe, we love you and we miss you. So that's singing, that's guitar. What about so you started on drums? Are you still do you have a kit? Are you playing drums much?
I just got a kit from my good friend Antonio, who we went to high school with. Yeah, his dad has an old kit.
Really?
That he granted to me. Yeah, I'm so excited to make music with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like a 60s style kit. Yeah.
So do you want to talk us through a little bit? You told me earlier how the album was recorded, but as far as all the recording, the mastering, the mixing, all that stuff. Yeah, you want to break into that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, I mentioned to you earlier, I have a small interface that I started recording with, and I can use 2 mics with it. And when I first sat down to start recording, I hadn't had a lot of experience recording. So I was just, making little snippets to see what things sounded like. And I've learned a lot in the past, year about recording. And I think I get better every recording I make, I think, is an improvement. But at first, if you hear those recordings, you'll be a little shocked.
Yeah. That's something that I've definitely realized in myself is when I go back and listen to the first couple things that I do, it's maybe we just don't listen to the first couple things.
I had an epiphany when I was a sophomore about mixing, and I kind of taught myself how it works, how sound works, and engineering and producing. And I've also learned a lot from YouTube and other websites about that. But it's something that I love to do. I'm obsessed with sound. I can just sit there on a computer and listen all day and tweak and do things like that. It's something I just really enjoy.
Yeah. Did you find it kind of hard at first? I know I've definitely found it troubling mixing all the live sessions that we do and stuff, because I'd never done anything before. So it's kind of just does this sound better? It's I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm
on the spot.
Yeah.
And, trusting your ears, training your ears is something I've, been focusing on for a long time. I mean, the past year feels like a long time, but it's very recent.
So what was, you said you had somewhat of an epiphany about mixing. What was
the epiphany?
Was
smoking weed and hearing sound, and feeling it and being in that space and, really getting a glimpse of what EQ is doing to a certain sound and what compression does. And because I knew what these things were, but I didn't know what they did. Like you were saying, I didn't know how they changed the sound of it.
Yeah, how it really what it really does.
Yeah.
You give the definition, but can't hear the definition. I mean, you hear it, but
yeah, And I think I do just well enough to get my song idea out there with my mixing and producing. I don't think I'm a great producer by any means, but
I mean, shit.
I think I'll learn with time.
You produce the whole album, everything, all yourself?
Yep.
Fuck yeah. I mean, it sounds good enough to me.
That was my goal.
It was good enough for me to listen to it 100 times, so.
Oh, thanks.
When you were, so you have the 2 mic setup, were you just guitar with a mic and then the vocals for the whole thing, or?
A couple songs I
did you
recorded guitar parts first and then sang over them. I think that was a comfortable way for me to do it, because I'm still learning how to sing. I'm still learning how to use microphones, so splitting it up like that was good at first. But there's a few songs on there, notably Throwing Stones and Another Stairs, where I did it all one take. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah,
Can we talk about that song? Another Stairs?
Another Stairs?
Do you remember that one? It's
which one is that?
The second.
The 6th song? Yeah. I just need some words to remember. Like I said, I listen to too much music.
I could play you that song on my guitar in a little bit. But
ooh.
That was an interesting one, because I tried to record it multiple times.
And
I've changed the words to that song. And
do you have, so that's something that I was curious about. Do you have the original and then the finished?
And on my on Logic, somewhere.
Do you have the lyrics with you, the beginning and the final, or no?
I'm trying to find the file, and we can open up and look.
Because that would be cool, definitely, to see where it started and then where it ended
that
up.
Song, It's about a few different things. The ending, I know specifically, is about my dad. And we had a bird this summer who was staying outside our window for like a long time and running itself into the window every day. And we couldn't get rid of it. And I think that was a spirit or something, trying to get into communication with my dad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's what my family thinks. I think. Yeah.
Shit, I mean.
I'm trying to find it. Got a lot of files in here.
That's a good thing to hear. You heard it here, guys. He has a whole lot of files.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open.
I'd love to talk about like music I've been, writing now too.
Yeah.
A little bit. That'd be.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'd like to talk about.
Definitely get there. You could take your time looking for it. I can always just cut out silences and pretend they never happened.
Okay. It says, let's travel to the shore. Or it says, let's go to the shore. Let's see your face in the light so I can cover my eyes. Whether it's the sea or the pipeline, I'll say from the top of these stairs that I can't go any way. It's similar to Sunday Feel, that same kind of feeling of being stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can look at them. I think that song is really me just getting in touch with my personal anxiety. Like the second verse is talking about you have to be careful when you go into the wide world. And
what you guys can't see is me reading the lyrics and them just making me smile. Yeah, dude. It's incredible. Do you, I feel like that's definitely where I was for a while in my life, was feeling very stuck. Mm. Like, I mean, I guess you were feeling similarly?
Yeah.
What was the, like, means for that, or, like, the grounds for that happening, you think?
I was just, like, a lot of the same old, a lot of
same old
repetition.
Bullshit. Yeah.
And,
being comfortable.
And you have these, like, exactly. You have these aspirations when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
And, you see yourself in a certain place, but when you get there and you're not in that place, then you can get negative about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that happened to me musically. It was like after I kind of got inspired to start making music and DJing, like I had the hardware to do it, mm-hmm. but my brain didn't have the software to make things happen. Mm. And so I felt like stuck, like, fuck, I can't do what I want to do, but at first it was like the struggle to like get the things to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then like once you have the things, you're like, oh, wait, I can't like do any of this really. Mm. Like, I don't like, same thing with like my instrument is like, I have these very nice instruments, but like, I'm this beginner kind of like.
I'm glad that you're aware.
Yeah.
You have them.
Oh yeah.
And you're appreciative.
Oh yeah. Like I definitely push myself to play all of them every day.
Awesome.
But it's like you when you're a musician, you're first like starting, you have these like ideas of like songs and like you hear these things in your head, and then when you can't make them happen, it's definitely very makes you feel like very stuck, I feel.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who want to get into music, and I always tell them, spend time thinking about the music that you'd create and how it sounds and what it feels like, and genre-wise, or, where you see it, what place is it for you?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's the town for this project. Where's your place?
Where is your place? That's... Yeah. It's almost so hard to have this conversation because everything you say, I almost need to like sit and just like think about and like sit with for a minute. But then it's like just silent.
Yeah, feel free to sit with it and just take it all in.
Yeah, you need to find, where is it?
Where is
it? That's incredible. I love it. So do you see yourself, I mean, you said that when you first started playing, you learned every Nirvana song, right? You could get your hands on.
Yeah.
Do you like see yourself doing other things outside of folk? Is there another town somewhere else that you travel to?
That's a great question.
That analogy, can we just take a second for that analogy? Is there another town that you travel to?
That's great work.
There we go. This is why they pay me the big bucks.
There might be other places.
Yeah.
There might be something completely different, but definitely, I definitely want to branch out into different, different arrangements and using drums and using electric guitar especially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've been getting into now since I have the equipment to do it now.
Yeah.
The drum set, and I've been playing electric guitar for a long time, and I love rock music. Like I'm a complete sucker for rock music. It's all I listen to. Classic rock is what I was raised on. And
what are your like go-tos?
I love Led Zeppelin. I love Jimi Hendrix. I listen to that every day, and I have a great appreciation for that. And I have an appreciation for 90s music. Like we said, Nirvana and Soundgarden and other bands like that. The White Stripes.
Oh, what was? I forget. Something about the White Stripes. Whatever. Anyway, so like, would you want to say what that kind of project would be like, or is it not even a?
I'm still figuring it out.
Thought, yeah, still.
I think it'll be very simplistic rock music and taking from my blues inspiration and that style of guitar playing, and everything I do is independent, so it has that influence too.
Yeah.
I love 50s rock and roll too. Like Richie Valens is an artist I've been into a lot recently.
Richie Valens?
Yeah. He's
the
first
rock.
Latino American rock and roll artist.
What was he on? Richie
Valens, Valens.
Interesting.
His name is like synonymous with Buddy Holly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know me, Buddy Holly.
Yeah. I'm into Chuck Berry too. That 50s era of rock and roll.
So would that be a project still just you, one man band kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a band eventually.
Play bass at all?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that just comes with guitar kind of. Yeah. that's what it's like for most people. I guess I started with guitar, but like when I really started getting into stringed instruments, I was like, oh, bass.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do the bass first.
I love Primus.
Oh.
And Les Claypool's bass playing is, out of this world.
I actually we were talking about him earlier, Jamie, from the Sunshine Spaz and Judo Chop, but I had no idea who Primus was my entire life. And then Emily was like, yeah, come over to like Tori and Jamie's, and they had Primus on, and I was like, the fuck is this, dude? I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's so great, so creative.
It's like, geez. I was like, Jerry is a race car driver.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Yeah.
That's the song.
That's in there?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's the only song in the game.
Really?
Yeah. I remember playing it as a kid.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I just completely forgot about that game, and I don't know how I haven't heard of them until now, but yeah, it's like the past couple months I've just been on a big old Primus kick.
I think 6th or 7th grade, my sister and her boyfriend at the time bought me a few albums. I remember they bought me Nirvana, Bleach, and Primus, their first album. And, those are staples for me now. So that really had like a profound impact on me music-wise. That's
something that's like really, really cool, is like those first real interactions that you had with music, and like how important and like how much of an impression they leave on you.
Yeah.
Like I remember I don't even know how I got it, because my parents were like so hardcore, like no curse words in the music. But I got like, what's that album? Is it Dookie by Green Day?
That's
Yeah, I think I got that. I got that album somehow. I think I like tricked my grandpa into buying it for me or something. And
that's an episode of the pod.
Right? I hid it. I hid it from them, and eventually, yeah, go for it. Let me cut me one.
Yeah, but how old were you when that happened?
Elementary school.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
When you're that age, it's just like, it's like crack. It's like a drug.
Dude, I remember a big thing too for me was like, you play Guitar Hero? Yeah. I feel like that's something like really common that we've talked about on the podcast, is like Guitar Hero being a really big influence on people.
Definitely. Yeah, and Rock Band.
What is there any like notable things from that you could think of that you're like, that was my go-to?
I remember my brother playing the Rage Against the Machine song Bulls on Parade on Guitar Hero Rock Band, and
My cousin used to always play that.
Yeah, that was my introduction to Rage, and I've loved them ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And the Beatles had like a Rock Band game that I played when I was
really.
Yeah, it was just centered around them. It's really great, like the visuals and everything. Really impressive. And yeah, I love the Beatles. I've been on a real Beatles kick, this summer into now.
I watched Yellow Submarine recently.
How was that?
You see that?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Ooh, watch it on drugs.
I know they just came out with a new movie, or they're coming out with it. Let It Be, with like footage from them recording it and everything.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it and I was like, I need to watch it.
I have not seen.
Perfect timing.
Growing up, I was never really into them because my dad was like a huge Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, and so he was like really big into like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Clash, and Ramones, like all that like punk rock stuff, and like I mean. Tons of other stuff too, like Led Zeppelin, all that, Van Halen, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But he didn't like the Beatles, didn't like Grateful Dead or like Fish or anything like that. And so, like not recently, but like I mean, probably like past year or two, I like listened to like Sgt. Pepper's and like Abbey Road, and I was like, wow. Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
It is very, very good music. Yeah. I love John Lennon. He's my favorite Beatle. Also, shout out to George Harrison. He's underrated. I also love Ringo Starr's drumming. He's a big influence on my drumming.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's, rock-orientated drumming is taken from him.
Yeah. What would you say, like, other than, what were the two albums that you said that they got you?
It was Nirvana Bleach and Primus Sailing on the Sea of Cheese.
Are there any other like albums that stick out to you in your childhood, like driving in the car with your parents, like shit like that?
Those two definitely stick out to me. I remember Jimi Hendrix, The Experience, that album. I remember listening to that in middle school, and I remember Jimi Hendrix being the background on my cell phone in middle school. And I loved that album.
Yeah, he was another one that I like never really was exposed to.
That hurts me.
No, I mean now I've recently like I mean you asked me who the best guitarist ever was, that would be one of my first names I would say.
Absolutely.
I'm also a huge John Mayer Dick Rider, and I think he's one of the best guitarists alive, if not the best.
Yeah. I love that he's carrying on that tradition of being a guitar god into like, modern times.
I mean, you really think about it, like who else measures up modern wise?
I don't think there's anybody. It's him.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who just haven't gotten the exposure yet.
Yeah, it's very true.
But
the way he's been able to do it and at the rate that he's been able to put out music is so impressive.
It's really insane.
I don't really listen to him a lot, but I do. There's the one live album that I really like. It's with the trio.
Mm-hmm.
That album I've listened to.
I'm not sure what is it?
I think it's just like John Mayer live. I can send it to you later. It's a good one. He covers some
do that.
songs. Like
Oh yeah. So as far as, I mean, you said earlier you want to talk a little bit now about what you're writing now, like what's coming out of you now.
Yeah. So what's coming out of me now?
I mean, you said other than Sunday Feels, that was the most recent one recorded. What's like second most recent?
I haven't recorded anything other than the project as of right now, but I've been writing. I've been kind of in a rut with my songwriting with just an acoustic guitar. I think I'm still figuring out what I want to do with that. And we could talk about that too. But in the meantime, I've been branching out into writing with an electric and writing, with drums in mind. And I think that is really influenced by, just my general love for rock music. And I think that's the direction I will go with that.
So more towards that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what kind of rock music is going to come out of me because I've never really explored it. But I'm so excited to. Like I'm very excited.
So like writing with the electric guitar, how is that to you different than the acoustic guitar?
Yeah, it's more like music for me. When I write with the acoustic, it's more like I'm writing a song. But when I'm with the electric, I'm thinking of
bigger picture.
What I'm writing about as music, as an arrangement.
Yeah. With like what other instruments will sound like with it.
Yeah, and it's great because it's a different outlet for me. And it's a great outlet.
Oh yeah. What so electric guitar wise, what's our little gear check? What do we got? What are we writing with?
So, I had a Telly. I still have the Telly.
You had the best guitar that they make.
Yeah, I love Telecasters. I'm a big Fender guy in general. My first guitar that my parents bought me was a Squier Strat, and I have that guitar still. That's what I'm writing on. I love the Strat sound. I think that's the guitar that I'll be playing for a long time. I have a bass guitar. I just bought a new guitar, an Airline. No, it's not an Airline. It's a Harmony. It's a Harmony Stratotone. It's a very old guitar. I'd love to show you pictures of it. It's really awesome. So excited to see it.
Definitely like to see that. So you said you've been in a rut with the acoustic guitar. How do you attribute that?
I don't know. I think it's because I haven't been doing a lot. I had to be doing and experiencing things to have something to write about. I can make up a struggle with electric instruments and get out like a different kind of emotion with that. But when it comes to songwriting, it has to be honest. It has to be like real for me. Otherwise, it's just I'd rather do something else.
Yeah, I feel like the acoustic kind of like singer-songwriter vibe that you have like would be definitely very influenced by that. Like not having something like deeply emotional and impactful to write about, and just like not being able to do anything with it.
There's going to be periods in my life, where that inspiration is lacking, but I'm trying to branch out and find other outlets for what I want to create.
Do you find that being a struggle or like hard balance with like writing and then like doing things so you have things to write about?
There's a balance, and I'm still figuring out this balance. But yeah, I've written a few songs that I'll go back to and revisit and play them and see what they're influenced by. And an artist that I really got into this summer that has been influencing my guitar playing and an influence on my songwriting is Nick Drake.
Nick Drake.
Yeah. British folk singer. I think
it's in the Notebook.
Exceptional. I think right away you're going to be, impressed by the way he plays the guitar and the way he creates an atmosphere. Every song is an atmosphere with him.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, when I think about John Mayer, I think the same kind of thing. It's like he almost like transforms the like room and environment that you're in almost.
He does, and he does so many different things too, and that inspires me as an artist, because that's, I think, what I'll end up doing is a few different things.
Yeah, that's always, I feel like, the best musicians and artists have lots of different projects, kind of. Like they have their feet in all different kinds of waters. So we talked a lot about your influences musically, like genre-wise, like folk, rock, that kind of stuff. Are there other genres that you're tapping into?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of rap music. I love 90s rap.
Rest in peace, MF Doom.
Oh yeah, rest in peace. I love Biggie. I've been listening to a lot of Beatles, a lot of 50s rock and roll lately. I also love the blues. I love the 30s, that era of blues guitar players with just a guitar, and it was a dark period in human history. And I think that point in time is comparable to what we're going through now. But there's obviously a modern struggle. But I do really appreciate and love that kind of music, like Robert Johnson and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and artists like that. I've listened to for some time now.
So other than rap, are you dabbling in anything else?
I listen to indie music, indie rock. I like jazz. I like a lot of music. Ooh.
Yeah, it's definitely a great 50s, genre.
50s era of like a big band stuff and Ella Fitzgerald and great singers like that. They're influenced by like jazz and soul and R&B.
I'm not very I'm a big, like, I feel like once I get into it, it's gonna be all that I listen to. But like jazz, like I haven't really gotten into it too much, but I fucking love it. Yeah. Same thing with like funk. Like I've gotten into funk a lot. Like that was really the reason I wanted to play bass, was because I just thought that like funky bass lines are the greatest part of any music.
It's the best thing to do on a bass.
Yeah, really. It's like funk or jazz, or like, what are you doing if you're not doing that?
I've been listening to Hendrix, the Electric Ladyland album, and listening to that album, it's just like he was really coming into his own as an artist and combining all these different genres. And it's so impressive. He takes from what we were talking about, R&B and soul, and mixes them and infused with rock and blues, and I love it.
It's definitely really it's crazy how where music has gotten to, really, and like come to, as far as like you see people in, like, when you say Jimi Hendrix, you think like rock and roll kind of, but then when you look at it, like, you see all these crazy, like, different kinds of influences that then are a part of rock and roll now, you know? Like,
he was at the forefront of it. He was, it was a perfect storm for him. It was just like that music was becoming popular, and he just happened to have a huge appreciation for it and channeled that in a lot of his music.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, he's, like we said earlier, like, think of the greatest guitarist alive. Like, I'm like, Jimmy.
But how do you sum up, who's the greatest, with any instrument?
I mean,
who's the most technically gifted, or who has the best feel,
Yeah.
Like with drummers especially. Like Ringo Starr's drumming and Meg White's drumming is so simple, but it's so, effective.
Something, I forget who I was talking to it about. I'm sure Joe brought it up, but I forget who said it. It's not about the notes that you play, it's about the notes that you don't play.
I think that was Victor Wooten.
Yeah, Victor Wooten.
Yeah, that's a common thing you'll hear musicians say, especially like jazz inspired musicians, because a lot of it is improv.
That's something you would love him. Cole Hallman. Fuck. Shit. Sorry, man.
Sorry, Cole.
Yeah. Well, he's a singer songwriter too. He's out from Manasquan. He lives in Hawaii now, but that's something that we were talking about with him, was like knowing when not to play things, like, especially playing, like, he's primarily a singer-songwriter, but he's in this band, the Orange Blossoms, and like he's playing with people who he said were like more technical and stuff than him, and so they're not always doing those crazy technical things. It's like the best things that they come up with almost are like when they're not, like, when they know where to leave space for other people, and like where
I think
to.
That is, really being a musician, because like you said, he's a singer-songwriter, but that is like, a different energy. It's like you're now a piece in the puzzle when you're playing in a band. That's something I'd love to do, in time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the idea for this, like, rockish new place to go to, you said it would be just you, probably. Do you have plans for, in the future, starting a band, or playing? Would you want to play your music with a band, or?
Yeah. I think that's something I would like to do, or I'd love to, play lead guitar or drum in a band. I would just love to work with other musicians. Something I haven't really got the opportunity to do yet, but I think with time it's bound to happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, you just keep putting yourself out there, and eventually I'd start a band with you.
Thanks.
I gotta get better though.
I'd love to just jam with,
Yeah. Well, we got plenty of people to jam with. I'll put you in contact.
That'd be great.
Oh, actually, shout out to the wizard. Maybe what are you doing tonight?
I have to shovel my aunt's driveway.
Oh, never mind. That fucking sucks. But yeah. So in the future, definitely thinking about planning on maybe having a band. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be really fun, because I think like I said, when I first started on the drums, and being a part of a band as a drummer was like being a musician. Like I almost started as being a musician rather than a songwriter. Yeah.
That's definitely awesome. Love that. So we talked about the rut, right, with the writing acoustically. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I think that writing something like this project that I do is something that I'm always going to be doing, always working on, just writing songs stripped down with me in acoustic. I know it's something I'm always going to come back to, whether I'm in a band and doing that, but this is, what I feel most connected to. That's me.
This is the main project, kind of. I could definitely see that and hear that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's something I take the most pride in because it's just me.
It's very, I mean, you can't get more stripped down or personal than a person and an acoustic guitar.
Exactly right, yeah.
It's really the most
human.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always been very drawn to acoustic guitar. That's like when I first started playing guitar, I was in like 4th grade. My parents like got me a little Ibanez like starter kit. I can show you the guitar. It's like this fucking piece of garbage it's in my closet. I don't put it out with the nice things. It would bring down the value of the beauty. But I first got started with that and did it for I learned like Stairway to Heaven, Smoke on the Water, and like Iron Man, and then I was like, okay, this is like not fun.
It wasn't fun for you?
No, I think it was the way I was being taught. Really, it was kind of just giving me random songs and like not learning anything about what was happening. Yeah,
I feel that. Yeah.
I think a big issue that I had and like I still have is like just pushing through that like beginning period. Where you're just like starting, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you just gotta like keep doing it.
Yeah, you gotta keep pushing, and you'll find yourself. You'll find your voice.
Yeah. But so fast forward to high school. I think it was like my junior year. I got an acoustic guitar, and I was like, okay, like let's learn how to do this. And so I took lessons for like a month or two, but I wasn't really like learning much. It was like same kind of thing, just like songs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I just had like playlists full of like acoustic songs that I want to like learn how to play, because
that's great.
Yeah, I like that's what I was drawn to mostly, was just like acoustic songs. Like there's just a different kind of beauty about it, really, like.
And that's interesting to me because from what I know, you were interested in DJing. So that's like a very opposite.
Oh yeah. Well, so you see, that's me though. That's like my music taste. It's like it's just everywhere. Like I want to learn. Like I've been playing piano. My good friend Armin's teaching me piano. He's really the first teacher that I have that was like, not that the other teachers were bad, but like they just weren't the right teacher for me. And like he's definitely the right teacher for me, because he's teaching me the groundworks to everything, kind of, and like I'm learning how to like create rather than just.
Yeah, what kind of things is he teaching you? Like about theory or?
A little bit like theory stuff, but mostly literally, for the most part. I'll show you a little something that I've been working on, but I've been like putting it on my Instagram a bunch. It literally just started with like a month or so of just like play these scales. And it's like, this is what everything is created from, so learn this.
Yeah, the pentatonic scale is a big one for me. That's a scale I know very well, and that's the scale for me. Like I can get away with, I guess, like improvising on a piano just because I know that is going to sound good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like learning where all the notes are, really, and like which ones work together and which ones don't, and how to make the ones that don't work together actually work together.
How to resolve it and how to make a sentence. And I've been teaching a few of my friends how to play different instruments, bass or guitar, and I always teach them the blues because that's what I'm passionate about. I always teach them the 1-4-5 progression.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's where my soul is. If I'm going to teach somebody, I'm going to teach them from me, and I think that's a great way to learn music, because everyone knows that progression. It's embedded into us.
I think that was like one of the first things that I learned on bass. Was like was it a 1-4-5? I don't know. It was like dun 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 dun.
Sounds like a scale, but
I don't know. I'll play it in a minute, but it was probably within a scale. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think so you're teaching a few of your friends how to play. How do you like how does doing that make you feel? Because I've been, not recently, but teaching Emily over there piano, and like teaching like a few other like random people like a little bit of what I've been learning, just like here's what I'm learning and it works, so here, like, you should be able to learn too, kind of.
I think teaching is fulfilling, and yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, when I teach somebody, it's coming from me. Like, you're gonna learn about my inspiration and you know what I like, but I also need to get better at catering to someone else's vision and teaching them how to get there.
I feel like that's probably where my issues with learning came from, was that like disconnect of like what inspires you and like what would inspire me.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what you want. And I feel lucky that I do know, and I can work on realizing that. But for somebody else, it might be completely different.
It's definitely, I feel like the best thing you can do is learn from someone that you're friends with, you know, because it's almost more like, I mean, you don't want to lie to one of your friends or like let them down, right? So you don't want to, if you're not practicing and then you like go to them and you haven't practiced, it just like feels really shitty, you know? Because it's like you're kind of wasting their time and disappointing them. And so I feel like when it's someone that you know and someone that you care about, you're more inclined to push yourself more.
Yeah, it's just like fun. Like, you're just having fun.
Yeah, you're hanging out. Like, definitely a very is that something that you think you'd want to do in the future, like as a possible career path, like teaching music?
I don't think so. I want to be a musician. I want to be the one, with the guitar, but I'd love to teach people as I go and pass on what I know, because if I can learn it, then I can pass it on to somebody else, and then they can learn. That makes them happy and brings them joy and fulfillment. Then
I could definitely, I mean, not in the, I mean, I could see you teaching, but I definitely could see you as, I think of like, I hate the word teacher because there's so many teachers that aren't teachers. You know what I mean? Kind of just like,
we've both been around a few pretty shitty teachers.
Yeah, I mean, the high school that shout out Brick Memorial High School. Fuck you. You fucking suck. Yeah. But not everyone there sucks. There were some good eggs. But
shout out Diamore, he's the man.
Diamore. Oh yeah. That there was another English teacher that I had. He was like a, I don't know, like 50, 60-year-old dude. Demolic. He was a good teacher. Yeah. He was a teacher. Like there are teachers are like, it's so hard to find the proper words to explain this, but I don't like the word teacher because it's something that anyone can be, but I mean, I guess anyone could be a teacher.
Anyone could be anything.
Anyone could be anything. But there are a lot of people who aren't teachers yet who are trying to be teachers. I guess I could.
Or people are just aren't passionate about.
Yeah.
It. It's not what they're supposed to be doing. You find a lot of that in like the public school system.
Yeah, I feel like you almost need to be a student to be a teacher.
I was listening to Terence Mckenna the other day, listening to him talk about shaman, how important shaman were to society in like early civilization, and that harps on the theme of like a teacher. A shaman is like a teacher, a spiritual guide, like a creative influence, a mentor. That's what like a teacher is in our society, but it's kind of treated differently.
Yeah, I definitely. It's weird that like I feel like it's a lot of people's go-to. It's like, I could just be a teacher, It's like, no, don't be. I think don't be a teacher because of that.
I had a professor in college that was from Hong Kong, and she said when she is in Hong Kong and she tells people that she's a teacher, they treat her with praise. You wouldn't see that in America. If someone's a doctor, they get respect. But for her situation in Hong Kong, doctors were looked at differently. Teachers were, put on a higher pedestal.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, that's something that's incredible too, is like how different cultures treat different things in like music and all different.
Oh, that's the thing in America. Like it's hard to be an artist. You can't, necessarily make a living doing that. It's very upsetting. Like, I wish more people were able to just do that, because I know for me, that's the only thing that, I see bringing me happiness in my life. So I wish that anyone who feels similarly could just pursue that without, having to worry about, how am I going to make money, something like that.
Is that something that you think about a lot, like how to make this your full time?
Yeah, but I know that I'm going to do it regardless. I'm not necessarily trying to make money doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that I struggle with is like, do I want to make money from doing this in music? Yes, but I don't want to make money. Like, I kind of want to make time, Like, I want,
fulfilling and worth it.
Yeah, I want to have an income from the things that I do, so I have more time to do those things rather than like going to a job for 9 hours. Yep. It's like, fuck, like imagine the things I could do in 9 hours. Like what?
Yeah, it's definitely a problem.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're going to school for right now isn't that music full-time kind of thing. It's like journalism, right? You want to write. So is that something that you want to do indefinitely, or is that kind of your means to an end working wise?
That's a good question. It's something I've been thinking about a lot recently because I'm graduating in May. But yeah, like I think that it's sort of becoming for me, a means to bring in an income. But I'm also really passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about a lot of things, and music being one of them. So we'll see. I know I'm definitely going to be doing both.
Yeah. That's something, it was a great decision on your part, honestly, because I feel like it's very, like it transcribes very well, kind of, like journalism, because like writing music wise is, you're just, literally journalism, like you're interviewing yourself almost.
Yeah. And yeah, like we were talking about earlier about songwriting and hearing the stories of other people. It's there's a cohesion there. It's 2 and 2.
Yeah,
together.
100%. It's definitely awesome. I'm very excited and happy for you in the future. Did I just fuck that up? Test? No, I didn't. All right, good. Is there? So you're graduating, right? You just said. Have you done like internships or anything like that, or is there somewhere that you're going to try and work after school?
Yeah, I'm trying to work at a newspaper. I had an internship this summer, luckily, at a small newspaper in Ocean and Monmouth County, and I was actually able to do some like field work and interview people in person during the pandemic and do COVID stories, and that was really a great opportunity for me. And it gave me a lot of hope for like what I'm going to be doing, because it brought me a lot of joy and great experience doing it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Like that's the career I'm looking for with writing, is being out there and talking to people. Yeah, rather than sitting at a computer all day. I'll sit at a computer and write, but I'd rather be out there. Talking to people.
Yeah, sit at the computer after you've talked to the people.
Yeah.
Like that. That's your little common ground. Yeah. So as far as like, are you wanting to like work at that place that you worked at, or do you want to go somewhere bigger, or like?
I would like to work there. I've also been trying to get in a job or an internship at the Asbury Park Press. Because I think that would be great for me. Bigger paper and more exposure, and hopefully like a better career path.
So when you were boots on the ground this summer, did you like publish was stuff published, or?
Yeah, I was in the paper a lot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was really exciting.
That's awesome. That's incredible. I'm definitely very jealous. So
was writing something you thought about?
Yeah, I mean, I originally, like, at my core, I feel like that's what I am. Yeah. At core is like a writer, like a poet, like I write mostly poetry. I have a few ideas, and like I have a couple like chapters written for like a book, stuff like that. Yeah.
I'd love to read it.
I'll give you the summation of it, because it's just like
I love talking about ideas like this. I talk about with my roommates a lot, like writing ideas.
Yeah.
My roommate is a writer, and another friend of mine at school is also a writer. So.
Mm-hmm. It's so challenging to like put what's in your brain to paper properly and do it justice.
But it's also so simple too.
Yeah,
it's like such a simple concept, but actually doing it.
Yeah, it's like impossible because I have this like huge like it was insane because so when I sleep like I feel like I don't remember lots of my dreams. I feel like that's a normal thing for most people, but I remember even less, I feel like. And there was this one, and I woke up and I was like, whoa. And I like remembered everything, and I was like, whoa. And then as I was like, I went for a bike ride and was like up, like thinking and stuff. And it was like the dream kept going, like when I was awake. Like it was like a movie that I created in my head in my sleep. And then like when I woke up, it kept getting bigger.
So it was like, like a profound idea or something.
So like I still have this like whole thing in my brain, but I've only put a little bit of it to paper because I feel like I'm not doing the idea justice yet. Like I'm not a good enough writer yet to make this what it should be.
I'm sure you are. And I believe in you.
Thank you.
But I was going to say something. Like these ideas are going to come to you, and you just have to be the channel. Like, that's any form of art, but writing is something that I think about that a lot. Like I have ideas for books, but I'm not pressing about when I'm going to write them. Yeah, I know I'll write them when I'm feeling most inspired to write them.
Yeah, I guess I could definitely attribute it not being done to that as well. Yeah. But that's definitely like where all of my creativity and stuff stems from, is writing. Like I started writing poetry like probably the past 2 years. Like I had this one actual real teacher. He's a teacher to me, a incredible human being and writer. His name is Jacob Camacho. But he like just like awakened something in me as a writer, and I was like, oh, like this is really cool.
He's your shaman.
He's literally my shaman. He's where's he from? I'm not even gonna say it. It's some fucking like island, and like he's I think he's Samoan. And he's like the most
fellow islanders. Half Cuban.
Oh really?
Cool.
Yeah, he was a very like well thought out, soft spoken, but not like he was very definitive in everything that he said. Like every word he spoke meant something. And he used to say, I was talking about this the other day because someone said empty your cup, but he used to, like Kung Fu Panda, I guess like the dude would say like empty your cup or something. I don't know, I'm not very familiar with it, but we would be like reading something and he would just like look at you and he'd go, stop. Because like he could tell that you're like, you have things going on in your mind and you're not like completely, and he'd go, empty your cup. You go, okay, continue. And then you'd read the rest of it and it would be like really good then. It was like shit. But he just like unlocked this like incredible ability almost that I like didn't know I had.
Yeah. Sometimes you need somebody to show it to you.
There was also are you familiar with InQ? I know you were talking about Terence Mckenna. I gotta talk about that a little bit. Yeah. But so do you know, I mean, where did you find Terence through? Because this might relate.
I found him through Alan Watts.
Where did you find Alan Watts through?
YouTube.
Okay. Oh, so it was just okay. So I found
I've had
them.
Friends, mentioning to me Terence McKenna and other ideas.
I found them. Terence has a brother, Dennis McKenna, and he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. And
I watched that podcast.
Yeah. So I discovered him through Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan talking about him. Yeah. And Joe Rogan runs a company called On It, and his partner is this dude named Aubrey Marcus, and he has a podcast as well. And I was listening to his podcast. This is when I first started writing. This was like freshman, sophomore, or like senior year of high school, and then like freshman, sophomore of college. I forget exactly where, but he had this this guy on, and his name was InQ. He's my favorite poet to this day. Like inspired me to begin writing, and he was like, he does this like workshop, And so he like did the little like bit from the workshop that he does where he's like, okay, you're all poets, like here's how you do it. Yeah. And then like I wrote something, and it was like I just like kind of like poured my heart out and like everything that I've been thinking and like struggling with onto the page. I don't even know where the fuck that poem is.
How did it feel?
I wish it literally the best feeling ever. And I remember I would just go back and like listen to him saying like what he said to like make me realize, like over and over and over and over and over again, and just listen to that like podcast over and over. And like
to check it out.
I'll send it to you. Cool. Ever since then, it was just like, yeah, like I'm a poet. Like that's my go-to.
Yeah, and I think a big thing about this age is like, you know, finding out what you like and what you want. A lot of people don't know, but I'm glad that you found something that you know that.
It was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. You know, I was fucking lost for a while there, and I did not see an end, but I've luckily.
Have you seen the movie Soul? The Disney movie?
Dude, I watched that the other day.
Great.
That shit was powerful.
Really powerful, yeah.
Oof. I shed some tears, not gonna lie.
Me too.
that was quite the, but yeah, like that's something that like made me think, and something that I've been thinking about for a while is like, I mean, you mentioned earlier how you were like, oh yeah, the book will be written whenever it's written, you know? Like sometimes I'm almost scared that like I'm gonna die and not be able to do something.
Something I think about too, yeah.
Yeah, so is that something that you think about in that, like in the writing aspect? Like I have this book idea in my head and it might die with me because I haven't written it. I think about that
with music especially.
Yeah.
You know, like am I going to be able to capture this, you know, while I'm gifted the opportunity to, you know? I think it is over everybody's head who wants to create something.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that you...
It's all about trust.
Yeah.
It's all about trusting yourself and trusting your ideas.
Mm-hmm. Is that, I guess, something that you... Like, how do you feel about that idea? Like that eventually something is going to be the last thing that you put out.
It's a deep subject.
It is.
How do I feel about that? I think that everything happens for a reason. And I think that while I'm living, I'm going to do my best to, you know, write my own story.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that I'm doing, I'm intended to do. And trusting that gives me, you know, confidence and makes me more comfortable that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Is that like something that stems from like religious influence kind of, or is that like a secular kind of just, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do?
I think it's just like, it could be. I've been thinking about the idea of worship a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody chooses to worship something. I think that's something they touched on in Soul. You know, like you had to find, I forget what they call it in the movie, but you had to find like what you're intended to do.
Mm-hmm.
And find what you worship.
Yeah, you get like your stars.
Yeah.
The 5 or 6, whatever it was.
If you're worshiping the wrong things, you're out in that weird oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're one of the lost souls.
Yeah. Did you catch that the guy on the boat, he was like on the boat, they were listening to Bob Dylan.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
I didn't.
That, and it's like a Bob Dylan song. I was like, that's really cool.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, because I love him.
Yeah, that's something that I think about a lot, though. It's like that struggle between, like, I need to get something out. Like, I need to put my art and, like, things out.
That's how I feel with this project a lot.
But, so it's like the struggle between, like, wanting to do something before I die and like not wanting to rush things, you know? And it's so challenging because it's like, well, I could put together an album after we stop recording, like with the writing that I have and like the things, like, I mean, yeah, all the things that I've written, like I could put together an album, but would it be good? Would it be...
We have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And, you're always going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that you do, especially with music, like you might not have complete control over it. It's just something that emulates from you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what art is.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. See, this is another one of those moments where I need to just sit and like think about those words for like 5 minutes.
What you're saying is something I was feeling a lot with this project.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about my own demise, and especially because I was working on it for so long. Like there was like some kind of pressure.
Yeah,
something happens.
I mean, that was,
people don't get to hear this.
How long was the first song written, or like I mean the first like idea for one, like how old is the first idea of it?
I think sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
I think Throwing Stones is the first song
mm-hmm.
I wrote for this project, and started conceptualizing the songs.
You said that the one was originally written when you were what, 18?
18,
yeah, so like I mean it's been a long time coming.
It sure has.
Like I can't imagine.
But here, I want to say this to you too. Like you have to do it and move on.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just do it, and it is what it is, and you're going to make something better, something different.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I'm definitely struggling with right now. Is like I have this whole thing written that I want to make happen with like
you spend basically a lot of time thinking about it. Don't you?
Basically like a spoken word poetry kind of project with some like guitar, piano, my friends playing instruments over it, kind of.
Cool.
Maybe me playing a little bit. I don't know if I would even want to do that, but yeah, and it's like it's changed so much because like where I was when I first wrote it, mm-hmm. and then where I was when I rewrote it, and then where I was when I rewrote it again, and then where I was when I rewrote it again, and then where I am right now. Yeah,
and it might be years before you finish and fulfill that idea, but
mm-hmm.
you're still welcome to have other ideas in the meantime.
Yeah. But it's the other thing that I struggle with in conjunction with that is like, well, when you write something, the original thing, you capture that original emotion. Yeah. And so when you go back later and you rewrite it, you lose it, kind of, And it's like a struggle between making it better and just like completely losing what it's about.
Yeah. It's hard because you have to move on, and you're forced to move on, but you want to like capture those things and capture those moments because they're important to you. Mm-hmm. And you have an attachment to them in some way.
Yeah, definitely a struggle. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you would like to talk about? Because I feel like we could go for a while. Oh, I want to talk about Terence McKenna.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so you discovered him through Alan Watts. Was this... Because, like, this was a big thing for me. Like, both of them. I mean, Alan Watts was less of an influence on me. Terence McKenna was definitely a very, very big influence. Like, him, like Joe Rogan, all those guys. Mm. Was that... When we talked earlier about, like, starting to, like, find yourself and, like, figure out who you are, was that a big influence? Were they a big influence?
It was. I think Alan Watts is a big influence because I've always been influenced by Eastern religion, mm-hmm. and Buddhism and Hinduism, and I think in many ways they've gotten it right in terms of spirituality.
Yeah,
and like that. So,
they hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's always been a big influence for me, and listening to him talk is just like I feel what he's saying. Like it's just it's the truth. Like I think that's what we're all here to do, is find some truth.
Mm-hmm. Do you know exactly like the first time you discovered him, or like how you came upon that?
I was meditating once, and I put on one of his talks and meditated to that for a while, and I got hooked.
When did you start doing that? Because that was a... Can you give her this? Yeah. That's okay. You're ruining it! No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I've been meditating, I think, since middle school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Not consistently.
Still, I mean, who... I don't know anyone who meditates consistently.
Yeah, it's very hard. There was a point in time recently, I think last year, where I meditated every day.
Yeah. I was doing that last year. I mean, probably about last year. Like, I was trying to get it in every day. I got one of those, like, apps, and I got, like, a membership to it, and I was doing, like a sleep kind of help thing because I was having lots of trouble sleeping, and that definitely helped me, like meditating before I went to sleep. Great. So how did you discover that? My
sisters were like a component in that. Mm-hmm. I think they were interested in it when they were, you know, in their teens, and kind of passed it on to me.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I began to be interested in, and something I kind of stuck to, because I wasn't raised in a church or anything like that. I wasn't a part of any religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I am spiritual without a religion.
Yeah.
But I think that religion appeals to me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Although I appreciate like all religion and think it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I think there's beauty and ugly in it. You know? I think there's, I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on what I want to say, because I have a lot of like half-baked ideas about things that I just don't want to throw out there.
Empty the cup.
Empty the cup. No, empty the cup would be me just not talking about any of it. No, but I don't know, like the idea of like being a good person to go to heaven, rather than just like you should just be a good person, you know, and like there's tons of corruption and stuff inside of it, but
there's polarization in everything.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, that's so like you could, with there being corruption in it, there's corruption in everything, you know. So, shit, how much does that mean, really? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's very, very interesting. I think a lot of people find comfort in it, and I think it's good, but I think it could also be bad. Like,
there's a level to like groupthink and manipulation and brainwashing and
yeah, definitely. So it's not all rainbows and unicorns for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of the most interesting things in the world. I think Terence Mckenna has talked about it, but there's this book, it's called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross.
Yeah.
You ever hear about that?
I've heard about this theory.
What's his name? John Marco Allegro, I think. I have it. I need to actually read it, because I've had the book for like years and years and years, and I've never actually fucking read it like through. Yeah. But it's like a whole theory on like how religion was born from like
it's gotta be
psychedelics and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Bye. Have a wonderful time. Huh? Have fun. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Anyway. Yeah, I think people find a lot of comfort in it, and they shouldn't. You know? Like, 'cause I feel like a lot of people believe and think that they're gonna go somewhere when they die, when the reality of it is that you have no fucking idea what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
And so you shouldn't, it kind of comes back to that like being comfortable thing. You know, like you should like be weary of the things that make you really comfortable.
Or question them, yeah. Don't just accept them because someone is telling you to.
Yeah, like I feel like religion stops people from questioning things sometimes.
Yeah. When
that's what we should do.
Exactly.
As human beings, like that should be your main purpose, is to like question things.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that the world's going to get any better.
That's a system problem, not only with religion, but a lot of different things.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we've discovered Alan Watts and Terence Mckenna. I mean, you know the association of Terence McKenna with psychedelics and stuff.
Drugs, yeah.
Do you?
I've never taken psychedelic drugs.
No.
No.
Interesting.
I'm interested.
That's very, very interesting to me that you've been meditating for that long, listening to Alan Watts and Terence McKenna,
and not taking
and you've
drugs.
Never. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. You would enjoy. Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
I think my parents listen to some of it, but I don't know how much.
Yeah.
They've in the first episode there's a joke. Someone was coughing and I was like, they were like, yeah, it's from like smoking, and then they like weren't saying weed because they didn't want to say, like, they didn't know if they could say weed on the podcast. And I was like, no, you can say whatever you want, like if you're smoking crack, we don't judge. And my parents took that as I smoke crack. And my dad was like, you might want to censor some stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you know, the crack thing. And I was like, what, the joke where I said that he could smoke crack if he wanted? And he goes, no, it kind of sounded like you were saying that you've done crack. And I was like, I was like, what fucking podcast are you listening to?
It's one of those things that you know your parents are going to mention to you.
I'm like, jeez. But yeah, so there's some episodes where I'm like, ugh. But that's awesome. So your sisters introduced you to meditation primarily?
Yeah, they were interested in it. And there's like a weird relationship with religion of the East in the West. And I had a religions class last semester, and something that we talked about. It's like almost watered down. Mm-hmm. It's sold to you now,
like our version. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's another thing is like how fucked up it is. It's like you look at like everything, fucking like Joel Osteen, like like whipping around and making money. Yeah, whipping around in like a Porsche, like wearing like designer shit, and it's like, wait, you work for a church and people donate money to your church, so people giving to like God or the church or whatever the reason they're giving for, and you're taking that and putting it in your pocket and profiting off of it. It's like, geez, dude.
His mind is in his pocket.
Yeah, like I see a lot of people come into my job for like, we don't speak the name, but people come into my job for like, you know what we sell, right? For stuff for churches, right?
I don't know, but okay.
What we sell, like instruments and shit, you know? Like people come in for instruments for their churches. Yeah. And they're like decked out in like fucking Gucci shit and like nice fucking like brand new Gucci loafers and like Gucci sunglasses and shit. And I'm like,
it's the higher class.
I'm like, where are you getting all this fucking money from, you sneaky motherfucker? Like, it's for my church. I'm like, And like tax exemption and stuff. I'm like, you could pay taxes, motherfuckers. You're making money off it. Get the fuck out of here.
The Pope and all that. It's very interesting.
All the fucking like child abuse that happens.
Yeah.
That too. Shady shit, churches.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of good in it. There's a lot of good. People find a lot of solace. So that can be said. So you said, I just want to talk a little bit more about like meditation and stuff. Sure. You started early on, kind of. What was that like starting, and like how consistent were you with it?
I remember the first couple times I didn't really get it, and I probably wasn't doing it right. But
I love that concept, right? Of like when you think about meditation, like doing it right.
Yeah.
It's definitely funny to think about. People have all different kinds of like they're like, just don't worry about like experiences. You just do it. Like you just do it. There's no real.
I know like a common thing they talk about in Buddhism is that like you see like a mentor, and the mentor is supposed to like teach you that like the only person that could like figure this out is you. Like we can tell you to do all this shit, you can keep doing it, but the goal is to teach you that it's up to you to figure it out, and it's up to you to take grasp of your own mind and.
I've definitely kind of, I feel like that's something that like a lot of people probably struggle with, right? Is like when you're being taught by like your parents or teachers or mentors or stuff like that, you're not always taught like to figure these things out yourselves. Like your parents are like, don't drink too much, and like that's not going to teach me like as much as it should. Like you need to learn things on your own, know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
failing and learning from them. But I think the whole message I was trying to say is that they go to this teacher thinking that they're the person that's going to help them, they're the person that's going to figure it out for them, but that's not the case.
Are you what's his fucking name? Time out.
Sure.
Gotta do it. Gotta get the book.
Can I pee you quick?
Oh, yeah, go. No.
Also, Madison got me that guitar. That strap.
I didn't know if it was a surprise.
She gave it to me.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for hooking me up with that case.
Oh, I got you. Oh yeah, I was like, it says there's a case, and they were like the people I work with were like, nope, and I was like, yeah, I was like, it's there. I was like, this is my friend, so they're getting it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so here I have. Do you know of Ram Dass?
No. Kind of sounds familiar.
Ram Dass. He's like a spiritual, like, guru kind of guy. But I forget what we were saying, but basically it's like finding a teacher kind of, or like spiritual guide, like the right kind of one for you that's going to teach you to learn things for yourself. And I feel like when I found Ram Dass, that was like I've never met him or anything like that, but like he's definitely a spiritual teacher of mine, like someone that I learned from a lot.
What have you learned from him? I know it's probably hard to sum up.
It's very hard to sum that up, yeah. But he had a big influence on me. He talks a lot about death and like the kind of like country that we live in, and like the way that our society is, that we're like very afraid of death. And I mean, the word itself is like it's scary to say, it's scary to talk about, like when we were talking about it earlier.
Everybody struggles with too.
Yeah. But basically it's like our society is like, no one's dying, don't tell anyone, like grandma's fine, like grandma's not gonna die, like you know. And I don't know, it was something that I always struggled with, because I felt like I was in a constant like very afraid of death, rather than his whole thing. I mean, this book is called Be Here Now.
My sister has this book, I think.
Yeah.
My sister Sam, she actually handed me this book one day and was like, read this.
Yeah, you should read the intro at least, because it's a beautiful story about how he you know Timothy Leary?
What'd you say?
Timothy Leary?
No.
He's like one of the first like guys to like not popularize but like study LSD.
Okay.
And like that.
Yeah. And
he was like, they were good friends and they went like on trips like across the country, and like he was one of the first like acid guinea pigs kind of, you know, like this guy. And so basically the main things that I've learned from him is being here now, you know, basically being present and being aware in everything, trying to always come back to my breath kind of and like focus on that a lot.
It's something I think about every day.
It's
we're oftentimes in the future or in the past. We're never, you know, in the middle.
Exactly. So he's instilled a lot of knowledge upon me as far as that, but definitely even more so about death and like with death and how we're so afraid of it, but that it's just something that's going to happen. And I feel like I've said some things and gotten some like really negative reactions before because like how people grieve and handle death in our society. I feel like it's kind of toxic. People get like very hung up on it and are always like constantly like afraid of it, or when it does happen, it's like this thing that you linger upon for a really long time. And I remember, I'm not going to say any specifics whatsoever, but I mean, not that any of these people would be listening to this, but I you know, someone was having like a I don't know, like they did like a memorial service for like this person that they knew that died every like 6 months or something like that. And it's like, I feel like people just need to, as fucking rough as it sounds, like just like kind of move on, you know, like get on with their lives. Like people definitely linger on it, and I understand, right? Because there are people in my life that have died that I constantly think about, but I don't think it's really a good thing. I don't know.
That's an interesting way to put it.
This is one of my half-baked ideas that I probably shouldn't put out there.
It's okay. Like we become hyper-fixated on it, and I think you need to allow yourself to be that in the moment, but we're forced to move on. We have to. That's our job.
Yeah. I feel like I know a lot of people also who like with animals, like their dog dies and it's just like the only thing I see for like a really long time, and it's like I love my dog so fucking much.
You love him while he's here.
Exactly.
I get that.
But like he's gonna die. Like he's 9, 10, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
within the next 5 years, and I'm gonna be okay because I know it's gonna happen. And people, I feel like, just live in the constant denial that something like that's gonna happen eventually, and they're just so afraid of change. And I mean, back to comfort, right? Like, everyone's so comfortable with how their lives are and who's in their life, that when someone leaves it,
is allowed to deal with it in their own way.
No, exactly.
If you want to have a memorial service every 6 months, you can.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's one of the reasons that I hesitated to even say that.
You just want that person to move on because you know that's what's good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's not a good place. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It might come off as like a negative. Like I think badly of this person. Yeah, no, I want them to have a good life and find other reasons to live. You know.
Yeah. You owe it to that person who passed away.
Exactly. You know, they're gone, but you're still here. So what are you doing?
You're carrying them on.
Yeah. Rather than sitting and dwelling.
That's not what they would want you to do.
Exactly. That's like something that people always say. It's like, you know, someone dies and people say like, oh, they would want you to live and they would want you to be happy. But no one ever takes that to heart, really, I feel like.
It's hard to listen to. Yeah, but it's the truth, I guess.
We talk a little bit about like the society that we live in, stuff like that. I feel like that's a really big thing is, what was I about to say?
Talking about death.
It comes and goes, just like the lyrics. Everything comes and goes. Talking about death. Wow, this was like a zinger too. This was like
It'll come to you.
This was like I gotta pick this up and drop it after I say it. Yeah, I don't know. Our society. That's all I gotta say.
I feel very lucky that I haven't experienced, you know, the death of somebody close to me in my life, and I'm grateful for that. I've seen, you know, what grief can do to other people, and I try to learn from that, and try to be empathetic.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I struggle with a lot, is like, not that I struggle with being empathetic, but I struggle with the way I say things, kind of, or I'm very like, I just blurt everything I think out, and then people like take it as negativity, almost. Like you said earlier, you're like, no, like you mean this in like a positive way. It's not that you think badly of them. It's you want good for them. Yeah. Like I feel like that's definitely a major struggle in my life, is like I'm not communicating. I'm not like afraid to say things. Well, I am, I guess, afraid to say things that people don't want to hear.
Yeah, but you're not responsible.
Exactly.
You're not responsible for that. But it's just it's something everybody deals with. But
yeah, definitely. Is that we can kind of go full circle here a little bit, and then we'll close up, and I want to talk about a couple other things after. Sure. But is that something that you struggle with, like as far as putting things out there and like not wanting people to interpret them the wrong way, like your music? Like when you are you ever afraid that someone's gonna think that something's about them, or like confront you about a song or something?
Definitely. And like I said, like I don't think I'm responsible for that. And I try to approach it with love and care and properly express myself. But if someone wants to take it and interpret it in a bad way, a negative way, they're free to do that. If they want to take from it what I intend them to take from it, that's great. That's what I want them to do.
It's very zen.
Yeah.
That's also something that I wanted to quickly ask you about before we stop here. You mentioned Eastern philosophy, like religion, Buddhism. How did you get into that? How deep are you into that?
I'm not very deep into it. Like I haven't studied the religion. I don't consider myself like a practitioner, but I do practice meditation, and it's been an influence on my life so far, and something I really enjoy, and it gives me peace. So if it gives me peace, I'm going to continue to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Is Buddhism like something that you want to?
I'd love to learn more about.
Learn more about
Christianity and other religions.
It's definitely one of the more interesting things in life that people have created.
Yeah.
Is religion.
It's innate.
Yeah, it's uncanny, like you there's nothing that compares really. It's
so it makes us
these incredibly big organizations and things of common thought. That's something that I find really interesting, is how like meditation and yoga too are like so intertwined in like Eastern philosophy. But like with Western like Christianity and stuff, it's, would you consider praying meditation? I guess,
I think it's
right?
a practice. A common practice in religion. There's different practices.
But I feel like, I guess
too.
Praying is kind of like, you familiar with like meditation, like loving kindness. So like loving kindness meditation is basically you would start about it thinking about someone that's like close to you that you have really strong feelings for, that you love, like very like pure love, like someone who your relationship isn't like, there's like no negative to it really, like it's a very like pure kind of thing. So you start thinking about them, and then you think about someone who like is like neutral kind of, and then like think about like someone who you don't like, or someone who doesn't like you, or something like that, and like just express love and like good wishes and well wishes for them.
It's
so like
seeing these people for what they are, and taking it in and letting it go. Yeah,
I guess you could consider praying, I guess, a form of that meta, because you're wishing other people well, basically. So I guess it's a little
and I don't know about
little
you,
beauty in it.
I'm a person who has anxiety and has had bouts of like depression.
Oh yeah.
So meditation has always helped me with that, to calm my mind and ease my mind, because I think similar to you, I constantly have shit going on in my head. So it helps me sort that out and be more present, like we were saying.
I feel like some people, like I've definitely battled, I've gone to war with depression. I luckily came out the other side. I still battle some anxiety, but I feel like a lot of the times you hear, meditation, I guess, definitely being good for it, but at the same time, sometimes being very bad, like getting more so into your head and spiraling more so.
Yeah.
Was that something that you ever experienced, or was it always a positive?
It's been positive for me, but I've had conversations about this. I had a conversation with my sister Jess a while ago, and she was telling me that it's important to make sure you're doing it in the proper way, because if you are doing that and spiraling into it, then it's not helping you. If it's not helping you, then you shouldn't be doing it. You need to find what works for you.
I love that idea, finding what works for you.
Yeah. That's
something. I've been doing yoga every day, and I like just been watching YouTube videos. I haven't gotten into a yoga studio. Not anymore really, but I'm still like stuck in the like self-consciousness that I've grown up with my whole life. So like part of me like still hangs on to that, and like I don't realize it until I'm like talking about it right now, and I'm like, oh wait, that's why I'm not doing this. But I like never really, I went to a yoga studio like once or twice, but I was like embarrassed, like because I'm like bad at it, and it's like, no, like that
it's a very
doesn't
accepting
matter.
environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's why they call it a practice, like the practice of yoga, like
it's a judgment,
or like you come and practice, like it's not, you're not performing, you're practicing. But
and taking time like out of your day to do something like that is beneficial regardless of who you are.
But so one of the things that she says, the YouTube channel that I watch, she says, find what feels good. And I feel like that, what did you say? What were the words that you said?
That's okay.
You said a phrase, and then I said, I like that, and then I said the yoga thing. It was something along the lines of, find out what works for you. Yeah, find what feels good.
Something I think about too is like the gaze. I know it's something that's talked about in yoga and meditation, like finding your point of focus. Like when I'm doing something like guitar or playing a sport, like focus is very important. And if you're thinking about, if you're playing the game in your mind or playing the song in your mind before you actually do it, then you're stumbling, like you're not giving your best. Yeah,
I feel like meditation is definitely something that translates well to everything in your life, really, you know, like, because anything can really be meditative if you can focus, you know.
Exactly.
Like sometimes I'll practice piano for 2 weeks and I feel like I won't progress at all, you know, and then I'll like take a day or two and then I'll come back and I'll have a fucking song, like out of nowhere, just because I like came to the keyboard and like just pushed everything else to the side. Nothing else is happening. Nothing else matters. I'm right here, right here, right now.
You're letting you're letting your mind, be in the moment. Yeah.
Exactly. Definitely very powerful. All right. Well, we are over 2 hours in.
Wow.
Before we go any further, was there anything else that you wanted to mention, that you wanted to talk about? Because I think I've hit my topics.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we, touch on a few different things. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, I'm giddy.
I'd like to do this more.
I'm giddy that we got to talk about meditation and Terence McKenna,
Talking about something like this.
Yeah, for sure. Glad that you brought that up. Very glad. Any closing notes?
Check out my music, A. Jones.
Yes. Who is A. Jones?
Who is A. Jones? I'll be releasing some stuff in the future, and I really appreciate this opportunity to come and talk. It was really good.
I appreciate you coming.
Thanks, man.
Of course. So it's on Apple Music. A. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
A. Jones.
A. Jones.
A. Jones. A town on.
The town.
Fuck. I was so good the whole time, dude. I didn't fuck up until like 2 hours and 30 minutes in.
That's all right.
I fucked up Cole's name, but that's something that I do a lot. But yeah, so the town.
The town, check it out.
Who is A. Jones on Instagram? Where are the periods?
Who is A. Jones?
Okay, who is A. Jones on Instagram? Give him a follow. Show him some love.
Appreciate it.
SoundCloud, A. Jones, the town. Spotify soon.
Yeah, soon.
Spotify probably by the time this is out. So go on your fucking Spotify and
give it a listen. It's
look up A.
long.
Jones.
Let me know what your favorite song is.
Yes. Listen to also, I think it's fair to say, listen to it when you have time to sit and have it be the only thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
That's really,
that's what it's intended.
Yeah, you're really like front to back, like laying in bed. I don't know, smoke a bowl and like vibe out.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. Put some cool lights on, light some incense, smoke a bowl, and listen to the entire album. It's short. Do it twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like to really get it.
To absorb it, yeah.
And then if you really want to get it, you got to listen to it like another 10 times. But it'll be worth it. I promise. I've experienced it, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend to a friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. I endlessly appreciate your being here. And boom. Booyah. We did it.
We did it.
Have 2 studios that we record at too, or well, one, and then one we have the option to record at that we just haven't yet. But I like to do it here because it's like
I do like it here.
Easy, and it's like it's very like, yeah, dude. Check out the arsenal.
Oh, I want to check it out. I see the tally. Oh, that's your guitar that you said, dude.
What, like a solo?
Yeah, it's like a
Apollo.
Cheaper than that.
Native Instruments, Behringer.
I think it's Behringer.
Yeah, that's what this one is.
Okay. Yeah, it looks very similar, but just 2 outputs.
Yeah, I lucked into my friend Eric having one of these. He's one of the people that we record at his studio. But yeah, he was like, you just have to keep the sticker on it. Cause like it's his like record label's sticker. He was like, just don't get rid of the sticker. I was like, word.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is there like a community around here? Like, do you know the people that live next to you? And
yeah. So do you know Judo Chop or Sunshine Spaz?
Those are bands around here?
Yeah. He's the drummer for both of those bands. He lives right there with his girlfriend. They are like, I don't know.
They knew exactly what I was here to do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Are you here for Jack? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's happened before. Yeah, I think like two or 3 other people have
like a minute to open the door. Too,
yeah.
So.
2 or 3 other people have like totally walked up and been like, "Hey, I'm here to record the podcast," and they're like, "No, you're not. You're over there to record the podcast." You want to get right in? Or wait, here. So what songs would you not want to? Yeah.
I'm open to talk about any song.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So I don't know if I'll start maybe and ask you about like my favorite couple, and then if you want to talk about yours, that could be cool. I don't know, what are your like favorite songs in the project?
I think my favorite songs of the project are the first song and the last song.
Yeah, those are 2 of the ones I have marked.
Yeah, the songs.
Which is the one where you say like the run around with a bunch of clowns or whatever?
It's a song called Place Inside My Mouth.
Place Inside My Mouth. Okay. That sticks out to me. That I love that
What do you like about that?
That like line, just the idea of literally running around with a bunch of clowns, like, because that's what I was doing for so long.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
Yeah. So, all right, before we go any further,